Hello, manifestors. Let's talk about logic today. Do you have to be logical, or should you be thinking logically to manifest your desire? Well, if you are waiting on logic, having more faith in logic than in the law, you might be wasting your time and delaying your manifestation. By the way, a lot of people are asking me, where do I find your site? My site is right under this video and all my videos in the description box. That's where you find my site. On my Instagram, it's in my bio. You can find it on my Facebook page as well. You can find it online. If you just type in Google manifesting with Sylviane, you'll find my site. So my site is very easy to find, guys. Not hard at all. And if you look at the bottom of the screen in all my videos, there it is as well. It's spelled out for you. Okay? And if you listen to my podcast, you can find it there as well. So please don't ask me, where do I find your site? Everywhere you can see me, hear me, there's my site. If you want to book coaching, get my manifesting guide, or all the other things that you can find there, remember, my site is everywhere you can hear or see me. And if after all of that you can't still find me, like I said, type in Google manifesting with, and then my first name, Sylviane, and Google will present it to you. Click on the link and boom, you'll be on my site. I hope that it's very clear by now how to find my site. And without further ado, let's go into our video. In the manifesting community, we hear a lot about feeling delusional, and we hear a lot about people trying to stay very logical. So when you imagine that you already are the person that you want to be, that you already have your desire, but at the same time you are trying to figure out the where, the how, the when, you are putting in the middle your logical mind. You are trying to reason with your logical mind about a logical way in which your desire will show up for you. And when you are doing this, you are limiting yourself. There's one very important thing that you need to understand. It's that the world of spirituality and the world of logic are two different worlds, so to speak. You can't logically experience spiritual things because they are two separate worlds. People who are very logical, very rational, are very earthly, so to speak, right? They're not very much spiritual. So if this is part of their consciousness, to be very rational, very earthly, matter-of-fact type of people, most likely they will experience less spiritual things because, again, it's kind of two different worlds. So if you now know this law is spiritual. It's spiritual law. So if you try to put logic, something that's completely 3D, earthly, rational thing, into spiritual law, that's not going to work for you. You are going to delay your manifestation. You are going to prevent yourself from experiencing amazing things that you could be experiencing if you just dropped logic. Because you have to remember that as a conscious manifestor, bringing logic into your imaginal act, bringing logic into your manifestation, it's not your job. Your job is simply to live in the end, meaning to be the person that you want to be. from within, who has their desire. That's what living in the end is. It's an inner feeling where I am being who I want to be, in imagination and in feeling. But your job is not to figure out something that anyway your ego mind most likely won't be able to figure out, because the ego mind is very limited. I don't know about you guys, but the reason why I am so pro reverse engineering your life, it's because we learn a lot when we go back in our life and analyze how we manifested things way before we knew about this law. And I am sure that I'm not the only one, right? That even before I was conscious of this law, I manifested tons of things that made no sense at all, that came to me in a completely non-logical way. So I can't be the only one. I am sure even if you have less instances where you can see that you have manifested something pretty big, good or bad, but pretty important or very noticeable that you've manifested, that was not so-called logical. And frankly, aren't you happy that you don't have to figure out the how? I know I am. I am thrilled that all I have to do is put myself in the end of my goal, feeling that I already am who I want to be, that I already have what I want to have, and not having to take care of the how. Because again, the how, I know it's not my job. It's not my little ego job that knows nothing about this. This is the part where the law takes over. The law says you cannot be or have anything that you feel the opposite of. That's for sure. If right now you still feel the opposite of being the person that you actually want to be, then the law is going to give you what you feel that you are right now. Who you feel that you are being is what's manifesting in your life this very minute. But the law says if you manage to feel and be from within, we don't even care who you are, where you are in the outer world, right? But the law says be who you want to be from within. Feel that over and over every day until you really feel it, until it's dominant in your mind and body and emotions and everything, thoughts. So the law again says once you do that, that's all you have to do. The how, I take over. The how, I take care of it. Don't worry about this. The truth is, it's when you're trying to figure out the how that you are delaying, slowing down your manifestation. Because there is no way on earth that our little ego, with all the limitation that it has, could do the job that God can do, right? That higher self, that God self of ours can do, that the law does. There is no way that our little ego could replace that much higher force, which job is to find a way to bring us our desire. Now, I understand that we were all born in a society where we were taught from day one that in order to get anything in this life, we have to do something. So this is why many of us want to bring the logical, the how, and all that stuff, because that's what we were brainwashed to believe since we were a little child. But you have to remember, this is because we were born in a society that doesn't know who they are, that doesn't know this law. So we were told, even in the so-called law of attraction stuff, we always are told to take actions. When really taking actions, unless there is the inner work done before, it's useless, right? Taking action for the sake of taking action is completely useless. And I'm speaking from experience. The only actions that I take nowadays personally are inspired actions. But I take no actions, no important actions that is, in the 3D about something important that I want, unless I have been inside first, having in my mind, in my feeling, in my inner man, in my end goal, then the only actions that I take are inspired actions. But I never waste my time taking action from my little ego, like, oh, well, let's try that. No. That's how people who don't know the law work every day. We know that. But if you are in this community, you are a conscious manifester. You have to learn to think differently and be different than those people out there who don't know the law. Because if you are still the same, then you have not progressed to any extent yet to who you need to be. Sadly, I have some people who contact me here and there, and they have been for a while. And usually, those are people who usually can't even afford coaching. And it makes sense. So you can only imagine if they can't afford coaching with me, they can't afford coaching with pretty much everyone else. And they are the ones who can't seem to be able to shift, but shift from the inside. So therefore, the outer world stay pretty much the same over and over, weeks after weeks, month after month. And this is because they have not been inside yet who they want to be. And I'm not saying this to try to be mean. I'm the least mean person you've ever met. I'm saying this because it's the truth. And I want to wake those people up. I'm not here to sugarcoat my teaching. I'm more of an Abdullah type person. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I go above and beyond helping people for free. Probably more than anyone else on YouTube. But I'm also going to tell you the truth. If you have been struggling for a while to manifest your desire, but not only that, but to really shift from your old self, your old man, to your new self, the new man, it's because you have not focused where the focus needs to happen, which is within the inner man. When you focus on that and that only, and you forget about the how, the where, and the when, that's when your desire will harden into fact very quickly, as a matter of fact. Think about it. If you can think about positive experiences, think about negative ones. How many negative experiences have you manifested very quickly in a matter of days or maybe weeks? It happened because unconsciously you had done the work, right? You started to feel a certain way from within. And because you did, boom, it manifested. You didn't ask yourself, oh, I wonder how this is going to happen. As a matter of fact, sometimes you were very far from thinking that it would happen because you were not a conscious manifester and you were doing the inner work without knowing you were doing it, and boom, it happened out of nowhere. I know this, guys, because it happened to me. When I was doing the inner work completely unconsciously, and my outer world said completely opposite of what I was starting to do from within, I would have never, ever imagined what fell on my head a few weeks or even months later. Now that I know the law, now that I have analyzed past events that I have manifested, whether they were good or bad, I can see clearly why, whether or not I believed it could happen, it did happen, because I felt it inside. So that's how the law works. Period. It doesn't work any other way. So when you want to manifest a desired outcome, all you need to do, it's the same process. You need to feel it from inside, and that's all you need to do. You can use techniques to do that, but leave alone the how it's going to happen. Don't worry, it is going to happen. Anything that you feel inside, good, bad, or indifferent, is bound to materialize in your physical world. And if you know Neville, you know he used to love William Blake, and he used to love to quote William Blake. And this is my favorite quote from William Blake. All that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. So for those who are going to ask me how to explain what it says very clearly here, but even though it's clear, some people always don't understand. So here it says that while things appear to be real outside in the outer world, it is because it was first imagined. And whenever you see the word imagine or imagination, you have to understand that imagination is not just visualization. As I have noticed, a lot of people think all the thoughts, inner conversations, feelings, images that you have in your mind, ideas, it's all imagination, all right? Not just visualizing something. Everything that's going on in your mind is imagination. So again, here's what Blake is saying. Even though things appear to be out there in the outer world, they are only because it was first imagined in your inner world. Because this world of mortality, meaning this 3D world, is but a shadow. What is a shadow? It's a reflection, meaning nothing. It doesn't exist on its own. The outer world is just a shadow of the inner world. So all you have to think when you have a desire is to feel that it already exists in your world. And you feel that from within. And the law will take care of everything it needs to take care of. When you are planting a seed, if you are planting a cherry tree seed, for example, you do not have to figure out what's in that seed that is going to create a tree. Not only a tree, but a specific tree, right? Your ego mind could never know what's in that seed. That seed contains all the information that it needs to have. All you need to do is plant the seed, right? You could never create that seed. You can just plant it. That's the exact same thing that we do when we have a desire. When we have a desire, it's our seed. It already exists, like the seed already exists, right? It already exists. We don't have to question even why we have the desire. We do, well, we do. We have a desire. That's our seed. And the way we plant it is instead of planting the seed, like the cherry tree seed, in the soil, we plant it inside us, in our inner man, by feeling that we already are the person who has their desire. And just as that cherry tree seed knows what to do to grow into a plant and then eventually into a tree, the law knows how to materialize our desire outside of us as a reflection in this world of shadows, which is the 3D world. So I'm going to end this video with a quote from Neville. I tell you, in a way that you do not know, and you could not possibly devise, you will be led across a bridge of incident to the fulfillment of that state. All you have to do is ignore the evidence of your outer senses and go about your own wonderful business, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. I hope this video was helpful, guys, in understanding why you do not need to put logic in the middle, in between your desire and the fulfillment of it. All you have to do is know and feel from within that you already are the person who has their desire. And as Neville says here, in a way that you do not know and could not even possibly devise, You will be led across bridges of incident to the fulfillment of that state, the state where your desire already exists and is already yours. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.